Grown food. ASC got produce. ASC about to go cool.
Welcome to Food Moves the World podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Powell from Appetite for Change. Today we have Coach Talley. Coach, you want to introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Coach Mike Talley Tate. I always have to add that coach, and I have to always add that Talley. Even though people say, well, your name is Michael, why are you called Talley? Well, back when I grew up in North Minneapolis years ago, we always used the last name as the first name to call a family. So my last name was Talley before I changed it to my mother's maiden name of Tate, and Talley had already stuck for these 65 years that I've been alive, and I've been using it ever since. Born and raised in North Minneapolis, by way of Fergus Falls, Minnesota, is where my mother and the Tate family were for a part of the 85 descendants that came in 1908 after leaving Campbellsville, Kentucky, on their way north. My great-great-grandfather was a freed slave, and he wanted his family to move somewhere where they thought there would be land in Fergus Falls. Got there, wasn't a whole lot of land. But the Tate family, which is my 8 uncles and aunts, that family stayed in Fergus Falls for most of their adult and high school lives.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You could take it back, huh?
I can take it way back. Man,
that's amazing. Because I'm sitting here like, a lot of us don't know our history. And for you to actually have the footprint to, this is where we're from and this is who he is. That's amazing. So you're Fergus Falls Northside baby, right? And so can you share what it is you do? Like what got you involved in the work you do?
Well, again, being a Northside baby, you come through a part of your life in different quadrants, I would say. I started as a Phyllis Wheatley baby. I moved my way to being a hospitality house kid. By that time, I moved to be a Way kid. And then I moved to be a North Commons kid. All 4 of those opportunities afforded me to learn from mentors who, again, cared about children, didn't care so much about what's going on in today's world about our children, but really wanted to mentor us in sports and give us good guidance in whether it was ping pong or kickball. They really gave us a guidance on how to carry ourselves. Hence why I do what I do today is I've been coaching for over 40 years, football in North Minneapolis, mainly at North Commons. I coached at Henry, I coached at North. But football was a driver for me to bring young people together, to give them one goal is to work hard, have a great attitude, respect each other, and you will be successful is kind of what our mantra has been for over 45 years. In the 40 years that I've been coaching, I switched and started doing something different after about 16 years ago. And it wasn't a switch, it was just a thought. We thought, how could we change North Minneapolis in a room at the YMCA, that's right on Broadway, about building a new North Commons building, a fortress of which we would be proud of and our kids could use for decades to come. And it would draw community together, but bring in outside community to enjoy what we have inside our north side to play. And hence is the work I've been doing for about 5 years.
All right, cool. Appreciate you and appreciate that. Coming to North Minneapolis, you hit on some staple centers in North Minneapolis, like the Wheatley, North Commons, Hospitality House, and I forgot
the Way.
The Way. My apologies. That's okay. That's big, right?
That's real big.
That's big, right?
Yeah.
And for you to experience all of that growing up, and being able to tell those stories, like I hear stories about the Way. And what was that skating ring that was in North Minneapolis?
Roller Garden and then Gate or something
Northgate.
Like that. Northgate.
How I know it's Northgate?
Well, because a kid used to go there. I used to go to Roller Garden.
I didn't go to Northgate. Northgate was not around.
Wasn't around.
But yeah, so like being a part of those staple centers that we had and have in North Minneapolis, and how meaningful and impactful they is to the community.
Yeah.
And I see that you show up for the youth. And I assume that's from being mentored and seeing a way? And why does you feel it's so important to stay involved and not forget about them, but build for their future?
Absolutely. Because again, I tell all my mentors, they poured this into me, and I'm pouring it into them so they can become me when I transition. Again, I want to leave not a legacy, but an experience that I gained from my mentors. Because legacies, okay, everybody can have one of them, but you're built on what you left the community and what you left the children and what you left the family. My main goal in life was always trying to change the children through the family. Or because if I can change the child, I can change maybe mom and dad's thought process and still work on the kid itself. So it had a two-pronged approach for me. And again, when I started at the Wheatley, I was 5 years out. When I got to Hospitality House, I was 8. When I got to the Way, I was 10. When I got to North Commons, I was 15. And each one of them stops gave me something different to carry on to doing what I'm doing.
Wheatley at 5. Been around for a long time. Very long time.
Yeah.
So your involvement with youth, so you see 40 years, so you got some old kids, right?
Yeah.
Their relationships, do you still maintain relationships with them and support them and mentor them? Pretty sure you're like a father figure to the whole community.
Yeah, I will tell you this, and again, it brings joy to my heart when they call me coach or pops. Because I think I was both of them to a lot of children and a lot of families, a lot of mothers, a lot of fathers, okay? And it brings joy to me when they do that. If they just say coach, and I just tell people I'm coach. I don't even give them my first, last, or second name. You know what I mean? That's coach. And the kids, you know, they say that that's coach. You know, when I walk on a North High Field or Henry Field or Edison Field, or if I just go over south, anywhere, that's coach. And that makes me proud, but it lets me know that I made an impression on young people. That, again, just warms my heart, because I don't need a whole lot. I've worked for most of what I've ever had. I've been working 3 jobs since I was able to do that, because that's what I wanted to do. But it always gave me a chance to go out and do these other things, because I knew my value. I knew where my money was coming from. I didn't do it for money. Most of what I've ever done has been volunteer without trying to get a check, because that's where my heart lays. So that's just how I am. I'm built that way.
And I can personally say, used to coach my son. And, well, you still coach him. You still with him, right?
Yes.
And even though he grew up from flag to now in high school, and he still look for your approval and to see if he getting it right or doing it right. And he just be like, man, that's coach. That's coach. Like, forever be a part of him and his journey, and hopefully his success when it do come. But just the positive impact that you give to these babies, where they feel as if they can count on you and trust you and know that you got the best intentions for them, it's very important to young people, because they still be looking for some of that approval, and to get it and show them that you're doing the right thing. Not only do you check up on them on the field, you check up on them in the school, you do pop up anywhere. You like, where they at, right? Not just when they're in bad, and I'm not just speaking on my son now, but for all the young people. 'Cause I see them lining up, waiting their time to talk to you, and you sit there and you give that to them. And I know it can be exhausting, but you still show up. And not only do you just show up for sports, you show up for academics. You're everywhere, right? So I just want to say thank you for that.
There was that cartoon, Sadwell Fairies Everywhere. Well, Sadwell Fair coach is going to be there. And, you know, with every good woman, there's a good man. And I say that intentionally about my wife, because she allows me to go do this. You see what I mean? Most men probably couldn't do this, or they got those honeydew things they got to do or whatever. But when I met my wonderful wife, I told her, I can't get out of this kid business. This is who I am. Will you still marry me? Well, hence she sent her son down to coerced me or introduced me to her, right? So the rest is history, right? So again, like I said, you know, every woman needs a good man, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We usually say it different, right?
Yeah.
But no, the woman is the king of the castle. We're just part of that castle.
I think you might get some pushbacks on that. You said the woman is the king of the castle. That's another story.
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
And again, it's
Yeah.
what's in your heart, because again, you are the queen.
So,
And there's no doubt about it, but you hold two positions. I'm gonna leave that right there. Well, I dropped the mic on that one. I'm just telling you.
yeah, you did. You sparking something
I
right
know,
there, right?
I know,
Like
I know.
that's a whole different conversation and story.
For sure. But we can get into that next time we do the podcast.
Right, but I'm like, you're so openly to say that, right? A lot of people, they won't say that, right? Because it's just alpha, right? And it is what it is, right? I guess it's how you take it.
It's how you take it.
Right.
Because most of us that came in, I'm just going to keep it 100 chaos households. And I was in one of them households. And I knew my mom, and I knew maybe the stepfather that I had, she was still the one. You understand me? So I'm putting it where times are today, where there's a lot of that going on. And the mother's got to be the king and the queen. Because again, some of our boys or some of our families didn't get that right nurturing like Coach did, to believe in family values without attacking each other and causing chaos and all these other things that my coaching values said, I know where you're going and I know where you're coming from because I know who the family is. So let me give you 2 hours of love, which ends up being about 18 hours during the week of coaching football. That guess what? Even though you may have to go to a home that is not very stable, you can come back to coach tomorrow and guess what? You're going to still get that love. And then by that time, when you've been with coach so long, for 5 years, you figure out, you know what, I do got value. Even though things ain't going right at the house, I still got some value because coach keep telling me I'm valuable.
Yeah. True.
And that's real tough.
Yes, absolutely. You working with youth, do you see an impact of how they show up when they're fed or when they're coming hungry, and the importance of food?
Yes, every day. Every day that I go to a park, because I still go to several of them, and I check on the community involvement that I'm doing today is picking up litter in North Minneapolis. I do that on Saturday for 1 hour a day. On every Saturday that I can, that I'm in, you know, not
you can fit that 1 hour in.
That 1 hour in, right? But it's almost, I was been 40 times a year, maybe 15 off. But being in the park system, which I'm a park kid now, I see a lot of kids who need to get nutrition. And I'm trying to build that in the park system, that they will do something about that. I mean, these snacks, a fish, and a box, that ain't it.
Yeah.
Let's figure out a way to give these kids some real nutrition. How about we teach them how to grow it, how to prepare it, and then they can come in after schools or on Saturdays and learn what nutrition is, what it really is about, because they think it's hot Takis and Mountain Dew. Well, so did I, until I learned what nutrition was about, how to make a BLT sandwich, you know, how to cook some greens, how to, again, do a squash and a zucchini together, and how to make these healthy things that, again, they probably want, but they just haven't been taught.
It sounds like every center need a nutrition class.
Every one of them.
Not just saying it, but actually putting in action to do the work.
Absolutely. And those centers allowing us to come in and do it. Okay? Whether they contract us or we do a volunteer. But allow us to run the program that will help our babies. Because once we start feeding them, there's a trust that goes with that. There's the anger goes down. The love goes up because they see somebody who cares for them. Outside of just going to school every day, making sure this is right, making sure that right. You're also gonna make sure that I eat, and again, the nutrition part is so important. You're gonna explain to our daughters how important it is to not have fast food, but have great food.
Yeah,
and you can grow it, because again, there's another thing coming to our city. It's called urban farming. It's real with these high beds.
It's here.
See what I'm saying?
It's here.
There's even more
we doing it, right?
See what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
It's here. So yeah, I think that'd be fantastic if they can actually bring those to the center and not just do a small pilot, but continue it to go and fund it so
Nicole,
kids can know.
I'm one thing, I do not like one-offs.
Yeah, it has to be.
I tell everybody it has to be intentional.
Yeah.
Football practice for me was every day.
Yes.
Not for most, but for me, me and Coach Pratt, every day. That was our 3-hour message to the children. And they could count on that for 3 hours or 2.5.
Yeah.
And they loved it. It has to be intentional. It can't be one-off in our community.
Right, like we dated.
There you go. Oh, we did it this month. Okay, we ain't gonna do it no more. No. That's a problem in our community and in our society right now. Everybody thinks they doing us a favor. And we're like, no.
Right.
We want to do that for our children. Now, give us the check that you've been paying Joey for years to do, and all he does or she does is come for one time.
Yes.
And then they're gone out of our community.
Make it intentional and make it stick.
And make it stick by the people who live here.
Absolutely. So I have another question, right? Yep.
Okay.
I have another question for you.
Come on
and I know
now.
you say legacy, right? You already had kind of answered it, but I do ask like your legacy. Because we all got a legacy in a story if it ain't written down.
That's true.
What is it that you want to be remembered by?
Well,
nobody want to die out without being remembered.
I never even thought about that. I think I was going to live forever, but that ain't true. I you know what? If I'm remembered for never giving up when folks told me that I wasn't going to make it. I go back to high school. Man, you in them streets, man, you ain't gonna get, where you going? You gonna be prison or locked up. I wasn't the best student, you know, but I learned so much in the streets. I would say I got a PhD in that, whether that was good or bad, but I wouldn't trade it in because I was mentored by so many good people while I was there. Even doing the work that I was doing, which is living a double kind of life, but you still had that love for people. And again, if that's anything that people want to remember me, is just that I had a love for kids and family.
I got another question to ask you.
You go right.
Because you're a coach. Kids listen to their coach more than they listen to their parents.
That is true.
So we have some young people that's like not where they need to be, and they feel like that's their only way. What is some words you can share with them? And like, there's always another day.
I would say, as you and I and anybody who's in the mentoring business, grab that kid who you know is lost and wayward. Be intentional with them. Give them love where they're at. Understand that everything ain't cool. They may be dressed a certain way. You always want to give them love where they're at, understanding where they come from, and not put the burden on them. I see a lot of coaches cussing at the kids today to coach, and I'm like, that ain't the right way. You don't have to build character through cussing, because pretty soon they're gonna cuss at you, because that's what you've done to them. So understanding the value of them, because they're just like coal. We're just trying to make them into diamonds. And we just have to meet them where they are. We hear that a lot, but you got to really meet them, because trust, and again, I go back to the 3 hours a day of football practice. They know coach's going to be there at 5:30. They know they may not get done till 7:30, 8 o'clock, but they know that's coming every day. So they come for structure. Our young people want structure, and they will come. And they may have an attitude, but that's okay. They're coming. Because sometimes they just want some attention from you, the coach, the mom, the dad. So they'll do some things, and guess what? Well, you'll yell at me today.
Right.
And I used to tell her, well, yeah, you want some attention, right, Ahmad? Well, go hit that hill. I'll see you when you get back.
Attention, coach.
I had to say
Right.
I had to use your baby, my baby, because they even know it.
Right.
They'll tell you right now. Coach is saying, look, you need some attention, Willie. I know you
So
do. Go
what
hit that
you're
hill
saying
first.
is that it's okay for our babies to show up angry, still love on them, and still be there. Don't push them away.
Don't push them away, because they're coming to you for that support that day.
Mm-hmm.
They had a bad day. They're coming for you to uplift them, whatever it is, or give them a hug, or tell me about school, or tell me what's going on. Let's walk over here.
Right.
You know? But we still got to go to practice.
Yeah.
Because again, I want to hold you, I want to love you, but I still want you to go back and get that work in so we can go back and be a good football team or a good person or get education. Because again, that's just part of it. We all have a bad day.
Absolutely.
But love is thicker than anything.
Absolutely. With that being said, Coach, we're going to end it here. I appreciate you for coming and joining and sharing that out with us.
For sure. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to coming back soon.
All right, peace.
Good food. Good food. ASC got produce. ASC about to go cool. We gon'